Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Wednesday night. It is AEW Watch-Along night. We're going to be getting started in just a few minutes. I'd just like to pop on and just say a quick hello to everybody before we get started. So, hello, everybody. This is a quick hello before we get started. And, so stick around. And we got some Dynamite coming. I haven't finished the pay-per-view. I just didn't get a chance to get the pay-per-view done, so I'm kind of bummed that I didn't get it done. I'll have to go back and watch it and finish it off. But stick around because we got the Dynamite Watch-Along coming up in about 7 minutes or so. So grab a snack, grab a frosty beverage, and let's do it. Good evening, good evening. It's time for AEW Watch-Along with Boris. Da, 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 da.
If you need a feature, you just go Dynamite, Dynamite, jazz hands, it's Dynamite time with Boris.
The ring's all set, the lights on bright, so settle in, it's Wednesday night. With matches stacked, the action's prime. AEW is love, it's Dynamite time, and with Big Bad Boris, we're
I was muted because I'm a dummy. It is indeed Wednesday night, as the AI-generated punk rock song has said. It is AEW Dynamite night. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm going to have a guest, at least one. Oh, look at that. Speak of the devil, and she shall appear. I would like to welcome to the stage the lovely and talented Ophelia Payne.
Hello,
How the heck are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm all right. I was gonna say something. I was kind of glad you weren't here because I feel like I pulled a butt muscle at work today. I got like a butt muscle thing going. You know,
This
just
is
like
one of
a
those moments
string.
where if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
you know.
like okay.
I'm getting old. I'm getting to that point where, you know, things start. There were actually a couple of years ago, I seriously hurt my Achilles tendon in my right foot sleeping. I don't know how I did it, but I woke up and I couldn't walk for 2 days.
Okay.
And I'm like, man, I should just cash my chips in because it's all over. It's done.
I guess it does get to the point though where you're like, you throw your back out like picking a sock up off the floor or something, right?
I actually say that at work a lot. The older you get, like the further away the floor gets. I feel like I'm like 7'1" and I got to get down there. Now, the problem with tonight's Dynamite is I have not finished the pay-per-view yet.
What?
So I'm kind of, yeah, I'm life is busy, you know, things happen. So I'm just starting Takeshita and Ricochet, and I'm kind of bummed that I got to watch the show tonight and not have finished the pay-per-view, but
and know what happened already. Yeah.
It is what it is. So NFL football is just ending on TSN as we get to Dynamite. I tweeted out earlier, like an hour ago, I'm guestless for Saturday Night Love this week, and I've been thinking about something I wanted to do for a while, and I think I might do it this Saturday.
Okay.
An all-music episode of Saturday Night Love, where I basically just play some of my favorite songs that I'm into right now, some of my favorite songs from yesteryear and that kind of thing, and just kind of like, you throw a party in your house and let me play the tunes for you. That's kind of what I'm thinking I'm going to do.
It's kind of fun, though. Are you going to talk about why they're your favorites? Or
There's two things I love in the world.
Talking
is professional wrestling, and I love music. I've loved music since I was a young lad. So I throw myself into it so I can give soliloquies on bands I like and reasons why and this and this and this. So I think it might be kind of fun. So that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do. We are opening Dynamite with a video package of all the things I have seen and have not seen. The parts of the show that I did see so far have been good. I thought that Mercedes Moné and Chris Statlander had a good match.
Mm-hmm. It was probably her best match, Monet's best match since she's been back, in my opinion, anyway.
I would tend to agree. So tonight we've got some Continental Classic matches, as that has been announced. We've got a few of those. We have a woman. There's some women's tournament, womenoftheworld.com/whatever. What is that all about? You got to help me because I don't know what I'm doing.
This is where I'm sitting there and I'm like, yes, I know all about this. I remember the tournament listing, but I don't remember exactly what it was for. Now I've drawn a blank. I'm going to look it up real quick, though, because that's what I do. I'm a professional.
And as well, we are going to have, I believe, Chris Jericho and Tomohiro Ishii for the Ring of Honor Championship.
Which makes sense that we'll defend the Ring of Honor on Dynamite. Yes.
Yes. I mean, why do it on? I sort of get, because their TV's kind of tucked away on Honor Club and not a lot of people see it. But at the same time, maybe if you put meaningful stuff on there, maybe people would see it. Because
Also,
like the back catalog of Ring of Honor, there's obviously a lot of good stuff there. And if you're going to pay X dollars a month for, you know, the new stuff that's good and then the old stuff that's good, I see a business plan here, but what do I know?
I'm just trying to figure out what they're doing with Darby Allin here, because
why is Darby Allin bleeding? Well, I heard he got hit by a car or something. Is that?
Yes and no. I mean, it's Darby. He's always fighting with somebody, and he tried to run over Moxley when he was leaving the pay-per-view, and so he was actually in the car that tried to ram the truck that they always escape in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Oh, one more thing. I keep forgetting we have to do this. Give me 3 seconds. There's lots of leftover photographs from SNL as we did the year in review. We all must salute the flag. Thank you, Mr. Shabazz, for your service.
For giving us what may be one of the best pictures of all time. Yes.
And what's funny about that picture is that was the very first episode of SNL.
Was it really?
Yes, a very substantial amount of the LPW crew were wrestling for PPW in Saskatchewan. And the show had ended and they had all ascended upon a McDonald's. And Reed Matthews, who I had sent the link to, tuned in and ended up passing his phone around to everybody. And kayfabe was officially brutally murdered, never to be heard from again. But it gave us
you're all friends in real life? Oh my God.
Yeah. It gave us that photograph of Sheik Akbar Shabazz where he is the human embodiment of marijuana. Okay, so the Gold League, Darby Allin, Claudio Castagnoli, were lost by Ricochet, Brody King, and Juice Robinson. The Blue League is Okada, Kyle Fletcher, Daniel Garcia, Mark Briscoe, Shelton Benjamin, and Morto. You know what? I'm on board for all of this.
Yeah.
People can call it a G1 ripoff all they want, but if it gives me good wrestling matches, I have no reason to complain.
And we are kicking off with one of the matches by the looks of it.
How are you doing? What's new in your life?
Same
old crap,
Nothing.
right? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I mean, how do you answer that question? Yes, the same old thing. I work from home. I review video games, and yes.
I mean, how do you answer that question?
Whoa, we're echoing.
Yeah, I saw that.
Are you watching yourself on your phone? Are you like a big mark for yourself? Or?
Oh, obviously. Yeah.
I kid. All right.
I think I had the YouTube open on my phone when I was just like making a tea and stuff to come online, and then so it probably just went live on my phone, and I'm like, hold on, how do I turn that off in the background? So Shelton
Benjamin and Mark Briscoe. You know what? That might be a first time ever. I don't know.
It is.
They may have crossed. It is?
Yeah.
I thought they may have crossed because Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas had a couple of shots in Ring of Honor back in the day.
Now, from talking to JPJ, I think it was, he was saying that Shelton has a lot of first-time matches in this tournament. So that's pretty exciting.
Well, apparently JPJ is too cool to come and hang out with me.
That sounds about right. Yeah. He's big-timing everybody now.
I mean, I don't blame the guy. I wouldn't want to hang out with me. If I wasn't me, I wouldn't be friends with me. I mean, I saw.
Wow, what does that say about me? Oh my God.
No,
everybody's too cool to hang out with Boris except for Ophelia. Okay.
No, you have a self-destructive streak and you're slumming it right now.
That sounds accurate. Yes.
Bobby Lashley looks like he's MVP's Secret Service agent.
Doesn't he? I never know what to do when he's wearing like a normal colored suit. Like that doesn't feel like Bobby Lashley. Like he has to have like this crazy wild suit all the time. Like not Thaddeus Archer wild, but like, stand out, like big pinstripes, all the things that he does.
Did they say they were in Chicago? They haven't done a show in Chicago in about 45 minutes. So it's good to get back there in case they lose some fans.
Mm-hmm. I thought that too. I was like, you're in Chicago again. Okay.
How old is Shelton Benjamin? Because he's can't be he's young.
Older than I thought he was. I remember looking that up.
I'm going to Google it right now.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to feel bad about myself when I find out.
Because neither one of us are in that kind of shape. Yeah.
I'm barely alive.
Oh God.
Shelton Benjamin is a 1 year older than me.
Yeah. So there we go.
Yeah. 1975, which would make him 49, and I'm sorry that I ever Googled that.
That's why I said he's older than I thought he was, because I thought he was like late 30s, early 40s. Like I knew he was younger than me, but I thought he was quite a bit younger than me.
But I guess that's what happens when you have a lifetime of taking care of yourself and being an athlete.
Yes.
I have a lifetime of jumbo donairs and beer. Which I don't regret. I mean, maybe a little bit. Hey, I wanted to ask you something completely unrelated to professional wrestling.
Okay.
But I retweeted a Sloan tweet the other day, which you liked.
Yes.
You told me. Now, let's talk about this because I don't know if you know that Sloan have been my favorite band for the better part of 3 decades. I'm a tad obsessed. And you said you got a chance to see them like way back in the day. So tell me about this.
I'm going to tell you stories about young Ophelia. Like most of those are before social media was a thing, so I'm safe.
Thank God.
Yeah, and well, I'm from Halifax, and Sloan is also from Halifax. So I saw them at a few dive bars before they really signed anything. And I was actually at their launch party for their first album.
Which is
Well, their
called
first mainstream album. Sorry?
which is called
Scream.
What's that?
It's Scream, isn't it?
No, oh, you let me down, man. No,
Now-
that is incorrect.
Oh,
The
I
first
don't know.
full-length Sloan album is called Smeared.
Oh, yes, that's correct.
And it's kind of
like-
funny that you mentioned that because this weekend they have 2 shows in Toronto where they're actually playing Smeared front to back for the
That's
first
amazing.
time in a zillion years. But yeah,
How come
no,
you're
I
not
didn't really
going?
know because I'm poor. I am so poor you don't even know.
fair.
But yeah, there's not a lot of people who are like obsessed with Sloan on the level that I am.
Mhm.
They've been a very, very constant in my life for a very long time, and I always make a point of hanging out after shows to chat with the guys. But there's not a lot of bands that have had that catalog and been around that long with all the same original members. So
Mhm.
big fan. Anyway, I think that's really cool. I'm kind of jealous that you got a chance to be there in the early days.
Yeah. I'm of that age, so that I was 18 when that album dropped. So
We're not doing any math.
no,
There's no
it's a
math
long
on this
time
show.
ago. Just a long time ago. That's all we have to know. I was not supposed to be in the bar when that launched. I'll just put it that way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, drinking age in Nova Scotia is 19. So yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, there's only 2 places that it's 18, and it's here and Quebec. So
is that true? I had no
Yes.
idea.
yeah, every other place
Is
is
it-
19.
Oh. Well, I mean, the Albertans have to get a head start on their alcoholism, I guess. All right, can we bring out Mark Briscoe? I don't even know what MVP was talking about there, to be perfectly honest.
No
We
idea.
were
All I know is
talking-
I don't even know if we saw, was that live or was that a flashback? He's putting somebody through a table. I'm like, I don't even know what's happening right now.
I don't know. We were talking about Sloan, which is more important. MVP was in action on Sunday at Bloodsport, which I completely forgot about and have not watched.
Yes.
So that's on my list of things I need to watch as well.
Yeah, he looks
Unrelated,
great.
have you had a chance to see LPW 32 yet? You can just give a
I
yes
have
or no.
not.
Oh,
No.
okay. Well, I tried.
That's okay.
That is for
Someday.
more importanter people who are more importanter than I am.
Now, unfortunately, I think Mark Briscoe is in this bracket to just eat pins, and that makes
Yeah,
me
there's
sad.
there's always guys in the oh Jesus, I didn't even see you there. Scared the crap out of me. Hello.
I'll
You're
take this
home
face
from-
off.
Come say hello. Say hello to Ophelia. Put this thing on your ears.
Ears.
So you guys shared a table once. You're now friends.
We
Hello,
did.
hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. It's so freaking cold outside. I think I saw Stuart Garby at the store.
You saw
he-
yeah.
Stuart Garvey in the wild shopping
the
like
wild?
a real person?
In the wild. Yeah.
Wow.
I thought he had people that shopped for him.
Right? I know. But
He's not that big of a deal.
all right. Have fun.
Bye.
Be good. Be careful. Be kind.
What are you making me for dinner?
Wow.
Chicken what?
I don't know.
Oh, we're having chicken. I don't know. Oh, which way does this go? I forget. We're having chicken. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Love you.
I love you as well.
Oh.
Oh, put your top back on. Yeah. Get out of here. Okay.
Here we go.
Here we go. Indeed. She's a keeper.
I'm talking
that
about
one.
wrestling. Who knows what you're doing?
Yeah,
I'm just gonna.
so am I. Comedy. Sorry about that.
I wasn't paying attention to when he said, "Oh, I didn't see you there." I thought somebody was like in the back end of the studio waiting to come in, and I was like, "Oh, who's here?"
No, there's a big loud beep in the ear when somebody pops in, so I know that. But no, I wonder how long, because I noticed that the door was open, and I'm like, oh, the wind, and then I realized there's no wind. So how long does this go? How many matches does this whole tournament go?
I don't know. That requires math.
Well, yeah, we don't do that here.
You already told me there would be no math.
Yeah, and we will keep it that way.
I'm actually really surprised to see that we're doing both blue and gold on Dynamite, because last year they kept one on Collision and one on Dynamite.
Well, I think they're realizing potentially that nobody watches Collision, and I shouldn't say that because I don't know the ratings breakdown. I just know that here in Canada it is behind a paywall that I refuse to pay for. So no disrespect, but
yeah, same with me.
I'm sure Collision, and I think Collision kind of, I don't want to say backfired on them, but I think Collision was supposed to be the CM Punk show, and that didn't exactly work out the way it was supposed to. So I don't know. I miss Jay Briscoe, and I will say it every time I see Mark Briscoe, and I don't mean that disrespectfully to him, but man, he was talented.
Yeah. I think it's fantastic that, well, I don't know how he came back as quickly as he did after the accident and stuff like that. And he just like came right out, and he's just been killing it on the shows. And I don't know how he can do it. And I love that the Dem Boys chants are a thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I don't think they changed like their entrance video, or like, I don't want to speak for Mark Briscoe, but I think like if you don't go forward, you know, you're going to get you can't get way down. I don't know if I'm explaining things properly, but like, this is what he knows. And you go forward, and if you don't go forward, you're just going to get bogged down, and it's a bad thing. So you just kind of do what you know.
Yeah, I could see that.
I don't know if that sounds like flippant or stupid, but
no, I agree. I think a lot of it too was that he was thinking, what would he want him to do? You know what I mean? Like, you know, he would want him to get out there and wrestle. Like, yeah.
I have a feeling, and hear me out, this is my wrestling conspiracy theory jargon.
Okay.
But I feel like that entrance way is really, really wide this week. I wonder if we're going to see a vehicle or something come in to the Impact Zone. I don't know. Just to me, it seems like it's very, very wide compared. And maybe that's just the setup. Oh, shit.
I think, too, that a lot, you know, when we were just talking about the whole thing with Darby and everything with the vehicles, right? Like, that it's possible. Oh, and we are in picture-in-picture. Cool.
No, we're not. Oh,
okay.
Wait, now we're in picture-in-picture.
Okay, that's how far ahead of you I am. Okay, got it. I know last week I was a little bit ahead of you too, and I was like, I'm trying to be better this week.
I'm used to being the one who's living in the future, but
it's me. It's all that high-speed internet out in the rural area where I am.
Where do you live without giving too many specifics? Like out
North
in the
of the
boonies?
city. Yeah.
North of the city. Do you have like an acreage? Do you have like a plot of land? Do you raise horses and goats and wild hamsters roaming the plains?
No.
No? Oh, okay. I don't know. It sounded good in my head anyway.
I mean,
well, I'm sorry that you
don't
haven't
I look like a farmer?
Looks can be deceiving.
That is true.
I'm sorry you haven't had a chance to check out the show because it was a very storyline heavy show. A lot of like interesting stuff happened. Mars and Kushida was good. We've already got some talent announcements and matches set up for January. It's a long way to the next show. I don't know what I'm going to do to pass all this extra free time I have now.
I'm looking forward to checking it out because I know last year the November show was pretty story heavy as well, and then it gave you like 2 months to think about the what ifs, right? Like what's going to happen there and what's going to happen there, and you know, what if this happens? So then that'll happen. Like, and then we also have the Oil Rumble in there too, right? So what's going to happen there that may affect the show that's a week later, you know?
The way the main event kind of closed out, it tied just about every story during that show into one big fiasco at the end. And it was, I don't want to go too inside baseball, what I was specifically told, everyone has a story and you tell them all in the main event. And I'm like, for real? And he's like, yes, do it. And I think I did.
A lot.
Are we past 15 minutes? Yeah, the motherfucker hasn't watched it yet to tell me if I did it or not, but I won't say the motherfucker's name, but we all know who the motherfucker is. I shouldn't say that. He might get mad at me.
Watch, he'll show up now and be like, okay.
No. This is a different motherfucker, not the guy who signs my checks.
Okay, good. Because I was like, that seems bold.
I've known this other motherfucker for a very, very, very long time.
I saw sort of, a few things on Twitter or X or whatever we want to call it, where sort of like, who won gold and stuff like that. So I have an idea of what happened, just not how we got to what happened.
Yeah, that's kind of like me with the. Sorry.
No.
I
was gonna say, I do love that we're gonna get the cup at the Oil Rumble, the Champions Cup or whatever it's called.
That's like me with the AEW pay-per-view. I'm gonna know kind of what happened, but I don't know how we got there. So I want to make sure I get a chance to watch. That's on my list of things to do this weekend. And sleep. Do you think it's a negative to have AEW's first match on Dynamite go so long every week?
No.
I think depending if because I think cable TV wrestling has kind of conditioned people over the past 2 or 3 decades that a 20-minute match on TV is kind of a rarity, whereas AEW is kind of bringing that back.
I would rather have a longer match open than a ridiculously long promo.
That's fair. I like to see the quarter-hour breakdown and see how, as the show goes along, what the rating is compared to the first quarter hour to the second to the third to see if that match is holding people.
And I'm also curious how long this match actually is because there was a promo leading into it, right?
This is true. No idea what the hell that promo was.
No, I'll have to go back and watch it later. That's what we do.
I have zero intentions of going back and watching that later.
There's no pay-per-view coming up anytime soon, so it's not like it's going to be, detrimental if you miss it. You know what I mean? Like last week, I went back and I rewatched everything just to make sure I didn't miss it.
Oh, really?
I know I did miss some promos. I know I missed some promos because I was too busy talking.
Because we were just blathering in your ear nonsensically for 2 hours.
Well, I think all of us were just chatting, especially, and it was just like, what's happening? Where did that promo happen? And someone mentioned something to me about the show, and I was like, what? And I was like, how did I entirely miss that promo happened? So,
do they have a December pay-per-view? I think they're starting to kind of go to monthly, aren't they? World's End or
we'll have World's End on the 30th, 29th, whatever the Saturday is there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, all right then. Saturday, December 29th. I just saw it on a thingamajigger.
Yeah.
We had
the full gear last week, and then this week we've got WWE, and next week we've got NXT. It's just pay-per-view after pay-per-view here. So,
see, I thought back in the late 90s when WCW was still around that the schedule was full, but now it seems like there's so much more just because of how accessible indie wrestling is now. Pluggo, what's going on? Why don't you come hang out with us? You big time on us like your buddy there? Nobody wants to be my friend.
Two people big timing. So how's the scoring work for this again? It's 2 for a win and 1 for a draw?
I don't know.
I think that's what it was. 2 for a win, 1 for a draw, and then obviously 0 if you lose. So I think
we do LPW preview shows where I don't know the card and Blair Pacheco yells at me.
Fair.
Thanksgiving preparing.
Oh, yeah. The Americans with their late Thanksgiving.
So what do we got going on? We got like a turkey and some stuffing and an AR-15. Like, what does an American Thanksgiving look like?
I think it depends what part of the state you're from, too. Because, I mean, a lot of...
really? There's like
mac and cheese
things?
and stuff, too, right? Yeah.
Oh, and like yams. Ever had yams? Just gnarly. It's no good.
You don't like yams?
Like, really? No, and then they put like marshmallows on top of the
that's
yams.
Weird.
It's like,
that's
no,
weird.
Stop doing that.
The yams with the marshmallows and the green bean casserole, like I'm not on board with that either. Like, that's not my thing.
He's prepping the turkey for tomorrow's cook. Oh, I wanted to ask an American a question, and Pluggo was an American. Ophelia, that thing on your fridge, like you've got your fridge, which keeps things cold.
Yes.
But that other part of your fridge that keeps things extra cold, what do you call that?
Freezer?
Exactly. Now, I've heard Americans refer to it as an icebox. Is that an American thing?
Yeah, yeah. I would say it's an American thing.
Pluggo, do you call your freezer a freezer, or do you call it an icebox? Because if you call it an icebox... I think
that's also regional too, I think.
Do you miss Halifax donairs?
Yes,
absolutely. Are they different from here?
Yes, definitely.
What's the difference?
Well, West Coast donairs tend to not have sweet sauce. They have garlic sauce.
Oh.
And what? Well, there we go. This is our first win. Yeah, so that's the biggest difference. I've noticed a lot more donair places here will have both sauces to choose from. And I think that's because there's a lot of East Coast people out here. And I also find that for some reason, Albertans like lettuce on their donairs. And that's
I do. And the lady doesn't. That's not really.
No,
that's a Western bastardization. Okay.
That's like makes it like the devil's food. And I'm not about that. So, yeah.
The devil's lettuce. See what I did there? So, Pluggo, if you're listening or watching, I'm thinking of doing a music-only episode of SNL. What's a freezer? Okay, good. A music-only episode of SNL where I play the music and then you just throw a big party in your house, get drunk, and break things.
So
good idea? Bad idea? Okay, so it's 3 points for a win. I'm seeing on the
one,
old
and I think one for a draw. That sounds right because I know there's 1 point for a draw.
Okay, see, it's all coming together now.
But yeah, so there is some great Halifax donairs here in the city if you know where to look.
Okay, this is where you share.
So my favorite is probably Blowers in Grafton, and that's because it is a Halifax restaurant.
I've heard of that. There's a couple of those. That's like a bit of a franchise now, right? I know there's one in Sherwood Park by the ladies' work. And
Sherwood Park, White Avenue, and Windermere. And they do a Halifax donair. Blowers in Grafton is actually an intersection in downtown Halifax. Those two streets meet, and it's called Pizza Corner. Well, it used to be called Pizza Corner because every 4 corners of that intersection had a pizza shop on it. And they would be open until about 4 a.m. because the bars would close around 3. And everybody would walk down to Pizza Corner, and every one of the restaurants or every one of the pizza joints would have music playing and sell pizza by the slice, but the big giant slices of pizza. And you just continue the party there for a few hours and then make your way home.
Halifax sounds awesome.
It is amazing. Yeah.
And you could see Sloan before they were important.
Mm-hmm. So so Blowers and Grafton's an intersection that's Halifax. And then, they do Halifax style food. They do a great donair. There's also a place called Eddie's here in Edmonton. And they do a pretty good donair, Halifax style donair too. Yeah. It's probably my 2 favorites here anyway.
I remember when Sloan hit, people were starting to sign all these bands out of Halifax, like Eric's Trip and Super Friends and all that. And there are some good bands though. Yeah. Maybe I'll play some of it on Saturday Night Love's musical thing.
I just remember playing Underwhelmed, and my mother was like, "What is this?" Because as parents do, they're like, "What is this music that you youth are listening to?" So,
and you said it's the best song ever.
Yeah, I was still in high school when that came out too, so it was great.
I had a Sloan picture in my locker.
That sounds right. Yeah,
I'm almost 50 now.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're close to the same age, so.
Yes, one of us is aging really, really well. The other one is me, who tears his Achilles sleeping. Are you seeing this Google Pixel phone commercial right now? Do you think they could really just easily insert another person into the picture, or is this TV magical bullshit?
One of my friends has a Pixel phone and loves it. Now, I could ask him, but then he would try to sell me one, and I'm not about that right now either. So
that's fair.
I feel like they probably could. Pixel does a lot of really great things with their phones, especially their cameras. But yeah, I could see it being a thing. And AI has come a long way.
Are you a Samsunger or are you an iPhone?
I'm a Samsunger.
Oh, really? I've always had iPhones, and I fear change. I'm not like one of those elitist iPhone people. I'm just I'm too old to learn where.
That's how I feel about
Facebook is on a new phone.
Every time I think about getting a new phone, I'm like, do I want to do this? No, I do not. No, I don't want to learn a whole new system. And no.
I think I hope I'm just about ready for an upgrade because my phone won't charge through the port anymore. I had to order a wireless charger, but it's badass. But I can't charge my phone in my car. Life is hard. First world problems.
Yeah, I say that all
Right.
the time. When I complain about something, I'm like, that is seriously a first world problem, and I will continue to complain about it because I can.
All right, let's get back
All right, heading up to
to
the
All
stage.
Elite Wrestling.
What's Tony doing now?
Oh, maybe that entranceway isn't as wide as I thought it was.
It's always so hard to tell when you're looking on TV too.
Oh, we have balloons.
Oh, we have Mercedes Monet. So you said you're on which match on the pay-per-view?
I'm just starting Ricochet and Takeshita, which I've heard
cool.
mixed reviews about from different people I've talked to. I try not
You know
to
what?
let anybody's
Yeah.
because I've talked. I talk to a lot of people about wrestling because the 90% of my friend base is wrestling related, and
sure.
not everybody likes the same things. There's a lot of matches where I think are good, and I'll talk to people and I'm like, "You like that? It was awful," and then there's vice versa. So
I think wrestling matches, there's different reasons why people would like them or dislike them, right? So was it a great technical match? Okay. Is that what you're into? Are you into technical wrestling? Are you into like the big flippy stuff? Are you into, is it continuing a story? Like, what are you looking for in a match, right? So I think that's what it comes down to especially with the pay-per-views, right?
that's why I firmly believe that I could make anyone a wrestling fan if they gave me a little bit of their time. I just have to find their style.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the same thing. Like there's certain wrestlers that I just don't like, and I just don't get them. Like, it's just not my thing. Right. So, and that's fine, but I'm not online, like, freaking out and being crazy much. But
I've understood as I've gotten older, just because I think something sucks doesn't necessarily mean it sucks. It's just,
I think it's the same thing with, movies and music and TV, and like, it might not be for you. And I think finding somebody who likes the same things you do, so you can get a good opinion. Like if I like the same type of wrestling you do, and you're like, hey, what did you think about this match? And I'm like, oh, I think it's great. You should check this match out, and maybe this match too. And then you're like, oh, okay, because we like the same things. But
oh, wait a minute, Camille is coming alive.
Oh, finally. Take your arm brace off. That's it. Hit Mercedes. Can't fire me. Oh, okay. Well, that's weird and it's kind of sad. I was going to wear that same outfit Mercedes has on stream. I'm glad I didn't.
So was I. Well, and you're wrong on one thing. Music-wise, if I think it sucks, it really actually does suck. But I'm not a snob.
I think it's hard. Like, I work in a business that is like, I review stuff, so my opinion is my opinion. And so when people are like, oh, I'm wrong, I'm like, it's literally my opinion. How is my opinion wrong? Like, it's just subjective.
I don't understand the whole big boom AJ Costco thing. I don't get it. I know it's and I talked about this on SNL because I watched that match on the pre-show just because I didn't realize what it was all about until I watched like the hype video before that match. And I didn't know that this guy was like an indie wrestler from back in the day. Because once that happened, and I'm going to be kind of flippant, I was like, oh, okay, I get this. This is just going to be a very, very run-of-the-mill average wrestling match. And it was a very run-of-the-mill average wrestling match. People loved it. And people got into it. And I think that's cool. But that little kid, every time they put the camera on him and he was doing this thing, that kid has child star syndrome and is going to be 44% crystal meth by the time he's 15. I'm worried about that kid because he looked scared and just like, I got to do the thing. I got to do the thing.
I thought the same thing. I was
maybe I don't get it.
Yeah. Also, yes, I don't get it either. But I thought the same thing. Every time the camera was on him, that's all he did. And it's like, okay.
But the guy, he had a moment, and hopefully he made a few bucks. And who I'm not one to shy away from anybody making a few bucks in the wrestling business because I've made literally a few bucks in the wrestling business.
We're having the Chris Jericho match now? Okay.
Oh, could we bury the ROH title any more than having it at half past the hour? What's with the hat? Am I missing something with the hat?
It's Chris Jericho. Who even knows? This is a new part of his new persona that I don't know. I don't know. I thought this would have been later in the show, but
at least an hour one main event, you know?
Yes, that's kind of what I thought too. Yeah.
I'm also kind of over Jericho because he's been heaped praise like during his WWE run at his ability to kind of reinvent himself. But it's interesting to see that happen without that WWE filter because, you know, the champagne thing, like that was cute and all, but like as the years have gone by, it's just every 4 months it's some new thing it's not good. I don't enjoy it.
And then I don't know how he went from the 8 to the 9. So I'm like, okay, so now, I mean, I know how he went from the 8 to the 9, but like, that's your new persona? Okay. I think too, like, was that the first pay-per-view that he wasn't on?
It might be, at least the first in a long time. Yeah, now that you mention it, I didn't realize that until after.
Yeah, because I kept waiting for him to show up in a backstage thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... This was so funny, this whole backstage thing with him being followed around. Like, I loved that. It was just ridiculous. It's far too long, but I thought it was funny.
I'm never a big fan of contract signings because it's very run-of-the-mill and it's just a very like lazy way to further a storyline and eat up 15 minutes of TV. But that was at least something kind of new. I assume Jericho goes over here, especially if they're still supposedly shopping for that ROH deal. He's a much more marketable guy than
Which is kind of why I was a little confused that this is so early, because I thought that he might win and then we would get the TV announcement. But
oh, yeah.
But, you know, I assume that would have been main event worthy too if that's what they were doing. But who knows? I don't book things for a living. So.
I've been told I can't book by that same motherfucker who hasn't watched the main event yet and told me how good I was. Until I'm told I did good, I feel like I did shitty, and that's not a good mental state, but that's how I live my life.
Do you need like a little, like a head pat? Like,
yeah, and it's not a good way to live. Like, it should be no news is good news, but like, yeah, I'm a bit of a mess.
Do you
I
think?
Can tell you stories.
I was gonna say, because I don't know exactly who you're talking about.
I sent it to you in a private chat. Did you see it?
You?
There's a little private chat gimmick on the right-hand side of your screen there.
That's exactly who I thought.
And don't get me wrong, love the guy to death. One of the best people I know.
So, do you think that they haven't watched the match yet, or do you think or are you of the mind that they watched it and they just don't want to talk to you about it?
No. I'm quite sure they haven't watched it yet because they're busy, and I know I would get feedback either way, and I welcome it because it makes me better.
Mm-hmm. That's fair, especially if you had a conversation before about expectations, I guess. So, like,
again, not to go too inside baseball, but on the booking sheets after the main event paragraph was like half a sheet of this, hit it all. I'm like, okay, I'll do my best, but I think
you're like, that's a lot.
You'll have to tell me when you get to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Jericho had no. Sorry,
I was just gonna say, do you find it harder to hit all of the points when you're solo?
No, because I can control the ship.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't really have to worry. It's A, I can control the ship, but B, like, even like going back to PWA, I've been calling shows solo for so long. When I don't, it's weird.
That's
not
fair.
Bad, just different. I have to give somebody breathing room. I have to let them do their thing. And if the ship's not going where I want it to, it can make it not difficult, but just not. I can't explain. Not as good, but just different. Yeah. Whereas when I'm by myself, I can steer the ship. Sometimes when I'm by myself, I wish I had other people, just because I find I repeat phrases a lot. I definitely, if you go back and watch all the shows, I definitely have a style, and I find I'll repeat the same phrases. And sometimes in matches, they'll be the same spot in the matches, and I don't want to say the same thing 3 or 4 times a night because that's bland and boring. Whereas if somebody else is there, they could throw something in. But I've been doing it by myself for so long. I very much got into a rhythm with myself. Me and myself work really well together.
You, yourself, and I kind of thing, like that, to be myself and I thing. I find it's always easier if you have someone to banter with, like when you're doing anything online, but I don't do wrestling, so I don't know. And I mean, obviously it's a little bit different. You've got a sheet to work with, and you know what I mean? Like, where you have to be. So
I also don't mind getting surprised every now and then. It doesn't happen a lot because I get sheets and stuff, but like I remember a specific incident back in the PWA days when the Millennial Rebels cut MRB's hair. I wasn't given the heads up on that.
Oh my
God.
I
didn't really know what they were doing until Kenneth Anthony held up the scissors and the clippers in my brain. You could hear my brain go, oh my God, they're going to cut his hair. And I was like, oh shit. Okay. That's
Which was probably a great reaction.
Yeah.
Like when you said it, because it wasn't like forced surprise. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I should find that. I got so many hard drives full of, I'm a digital hoarder big time, especially for wrestling. Like I've had to buy a second 8 terabyte hard drive because I tape traded for years. And then I took all the tapes I traded and I converted them to DVD, and then I digitized them and put them on a hard drive. And then I've just been saving things as I've been collecting over the years. So I'm on my second 8 terabyte hard drive of stuff, but I keep everything just because you never know when you're going to need, the January 7th, 2004 episode of Raw for whatever reason.
And I'm always very much like, do I trust the cloud? Like I'm that old, right? Like that I'm like, do I trust the cloud? Yeah.
I'm kind of bummed that because I collected wrestling DVDs for years. I had at one point over 500. And when I digitized them all, I sold them because I was short on money and I needed cash. So I sold them all. And I kind of bummed because I liked having them because, like, I think younger people, we sound like curmudgeonly old farts, but like, I don't know if younger people get like the tactile, media, like buying a CD and opening up a reading liner. That's becoming like a lost thing, which kind of bums me out. But like WWE put a lot of care into their DVDs and they're, but I don't own a CD. I don't own a DVD. Like everything's gone. Everything's all digital. And it's kind of a bummer in a way. When I was young,
it's always kids. I love having the space when I start clearing out physical media, but also there's like, I have shelves and shelves of video games, which shouldn't surprise anybody. So like for me to reach out and grab a video game and play it, I know exactly what I have. Sometimes I go into my digital library on my console and I'm like, when did I buy that? Like, maybe I should play that. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't see it. So you just kind of forget about it. Right.
Yeah.
So
I think the only industry that really sort of, I don't want to say like resisted, but it hasn't quite taken over 100%, but I think it will, is books. Like e-readers are a thing and people like e-readers, but like there's still bookstores. I still buy books. I like books. I read books. And like we're seeing magazines have gone away, newspapers have gone away, but books are still kind of that one thing that's still kind of hanging on by a thread.
I think books are a different thing too. Like people who are avid readers love that smell of the paper when you first open a book and that crack, like with the first time you like, that's just a very different thing. And I mean, I have lots of books and I prefer like an actual book, but when I travel, it's nice to have an e-reader.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I learn how to read, boy, I'm going to just everything I can find.
I have lots of books, but I've never read any of them. Yeah.
No, I love to read.
Big Bill on commentary.
I love to read, but 99% of the books I read are either about wrestling or music. I can count the 5, not counting like shit from school. I can count like maybe 5 or 6 fiction books that I've read in my life. American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis and the Harry Potter books are the only fiction books I've ever read. Everything else has either been like the history of punk rock or whatever, or wrestling books.
I'm always a big person of like, read what interests you. You're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to, I mean, how many times have I started a book and I'm like, I'm just not into this. And it sits on my bedside table forever because I'm just like not into it. So it's like, I have so many books that I've started and never finished.
Ishii and Jericho are in picture, literally slapping the shit out of each other.
That's what he does. She does. But I'm enjoying Big Bill on commentary. I was saying too, like.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Oh, I should check something really quickly, even though it's going to make me sad.
Oh.
Oh, I know the Calgary Flames are playing right now.
Okay.
Oh, we are losing 1-0. Well, enough of that.
Moving on.
Big Bill, that's a success story that
Yes.
that I think is really, really awesome. And I think we always focus on like the negative downfall wrestling stories and don't focus on guys like that who, he got released, obviously some substance abuse problems. Now he's killing it. He looks like $1 million.
Yes.
I don't want to speak, but apparently clean, clean, sober. And I think the sky's the limit for that guy.
He just needs to get away from the Jericho vortex.
I mean, the Jericho rub is okay. Like if I was in his position, I would take it too. But at some point, there's got to be that flip around.
Yeah. At some point, you've got to. It's the same thing with oh my God, the bounty hunter or the bad apple or whatever they're calling him.
Brian
now.
Keith.
Like, yeah, I really, really like him.
I also like a lot.
They said, like I saw him here in Edmonton a couple of times, and I really, really like him. It's just at the same time, I'm just like, why are you with Chris Jericho? But at least you're on TV every week, so.
Yeah, if I'm Brian Keith and I'm fresh off the Indies and this is my first big break, I'll take that Jericho rub. Yeah. It's risky to get kind of lost in the shuffle. And again, we're in like the half hour middle of the show ROH title match. But you know what? The guy's on cable TV.
Yeah, he's on TV every week. But when's the last time he had a match? It's been a long time.
I wonder if he's the Rampage Collision guy. I'd have to go look.
That's because the same thing, even with Big Bill, we don't see him wrestle as often as I would like to see him wrestle, because he gets in the ring and I'm just like, dude, like, wow.
And now we're slapping the shit out of each other again.
Oh, the women's tournament is the one to go over to Forbidden Door, is it not? Or is that a different one? What am I thinking of?
Well, I know that New Japan, like Wrestle Kingdom week, they have a big like crossover CMLL AEW New Japan show.
So this is to determine who is going to represent AEW there.
Oh, okay.
That's what it's for.
That's fair.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's right.
I was talking about my New Japan World subscription. I just because the shows, I won't watch it on demand. I like to watch it live, but everything's on at 2 a.m. So usually the only show I watch is Wrestle Kingdom. So I keep that subscription and I pay $120 over the year to watch Wrestle Kingdom. But I love me some Wrestle Kingdom. And I like to just have it in case I do decide I want to go back. And every so often I'll like dig through and be like, oh, let's watch some New Japan from 1985. Not very often because there's so much new stuff going on. It's
always so hard when it's such a different time zone. Like,
how many wrestling subscriptions do you have, if I may ask? And you don't have to answer that if you don't want to.
None.
Nothing?
No.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Outside of like the network, which is included with my cable. So
yes, yeah.
But I don't subscribe to anything extra. I barely have enough time to keep up with what I get for free. Like,
that's fair. I think a lot of fans are like that.
Yeah. I mean, I get the 3 shows a week that I watch, or 4 shows a week that I watch. I watch Raw, NXT, Dynamite, and SmackDown. And then I go to an indie event almost every weekend. So I go see live wrestling, and I'm just like, I just don't have time for anything else. Because I always think about getting, to watch Rampage and Collision, but until that becomes something that I'm going to have time for, or it becomes more interesting. Same with ROH. Like, until it becomes more interesting, then I don't really want to pay for it.
I have, Jericho's bleeding all over the place. Yeah. I have the network. I have IWTV, and I've had IWTV for many years, like long before LPW was even a thing. I had an IWTV subscription, and I quite like it. There's a ton of content there. I have Triller TV because I am a big GCW fan, but they've got a ton of content on there, wrestling and otherwise. I discovered
that's probably the one that I would subscribe to first, because right now I only just buy the pay-per-views as required. So.
They have a lot of good stuff on there, and we discovered BKFC, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. We discovered this one night when we were just flipping around and there was nothing going on, and we watched it, and we fell in love with BKFC. It's all the good stuff of UFC that you want without any of the boring rolling around on the ground stuff. And I don't mean to disrespect UFC, but like it's like human cockfighting. It's crazy. And then I have my New Japan World subscription as well, which I keep. And I've hummed and hawed. I considered the TNA one as well, and blah blah blah, but whatever.
There we go. That's the end of that one.
So Spencer Love is here in the comments, prepping to drive to Vancouver for Survivor Series tomorrow.
Driving. Oh my goodness.
And haha, see? Boris gets things done around here. Oh, I want to ask Spencer something about something. I've said too much already.
Yay! Thank you.
Yeah, let me know what you think. I thought it was a really, really, really good show. Some cool. Oh, he's taking the dog.
Oh, that's nice.
Does the
Good
dog
company.
travel well? That's a big dog to stuff in a car for that long.
We're about to find out if he doesn't, though.
Gonna pee all over everything. Oh, so Jericho won. I missed it.
Yes.
Looks like he earned it, though. Remarkable Renee Paquette is standing by.
We got Swerve and Prince Nana. With his coffee, of course. Driving probably makes a lot of sense, but I just wouldn't want to make that drive in the winter. I'm more of a passenger princess, though. I don't like to drive.
Passenger princess. I like that.
Oh, yes, yes. I will bring snacks and a great playlist, but I
No,
prefer not to drive.
wait. Oh, wait, who just walked by? What
Max
is
Caster
What was that? Who it was?
with a terrible
yeah.
mustache.
I believe if you are not driving, you do not get to control the audio. If the driver,
100%. I agree. The driver picks the music, but I said I will bring a great playlist. But
Okay.
I will mostly be in charge of snacks. I will bring all the snacks if I don't have to drive.
Now, what's the go-to snack now?
I will bring lots of things.
You have seen
as I
my
get bored.
my rotundosity. You've seen my rotundosity. You know I enjoy a snack or two.
You know what? I always bring like salty, sweet, crunchy. Like you got to bring a little bit of everything.
Oh, you run the gamut.
So, oh yeah, because you don't know what you're going to feel like. That's a long drive.
Spencer, I'm going to recommend you an album right now. This is an album. Sorry, let me grab off of my my thingamajigger here. Oh God, my Spotify Wrapped is right around the corner.
Oh goodness.
Okay.
I always get nervous when that happens because I'm like, what have I listened to a lot that I'm going to be embarrassed by when it shows up on my Wrapped list?
Spencer, if you're listening, the band is called Palette Knife. P-A-L-E-T-T-E, Palette Knife. Oh, wait, I'm playing things now.
And what kind of music is it?
It's punk rock, which I know Spencer is right or Spencer enjoys the punk rock. The album is called New Game. Band's called Palette Knife. Album's called New Game. It's like a yellow cover. I came across this somewhere recently, and I really, really dig it. It's really, really good. So check that out. That's my recommendation. And I don't know if you heard earlier, Spencer, but I have no guests for SNL this week, so I'm thinking I'm just going to play music. I'm going to sit down here, crack open the YouTube, and just play what I feel for a couple hours. That's what I'm going to do.
DJ Big Potato, or no, is it Full Size Snickers? That's what it is, right?
I've been called many, many things. We're in commercial. I have to use the little Boris's room. I'm going to be perfectly honest here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to duck out for a second, and I'm going to use the little Boris's room. We'll come right back. Okay?
Sounds good.
Okay. I don't know what's cooking down there, but something's cooking. And
Chicken, I don't know, wasn't it?
Chicken, I don't know. Well, chicken, I
Yeah.
don't know. It smells pretty darn good. I think also I'm going to film a MTV Cribs style video of
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
BBBoris World Headquarters, because there's a lot of things that you don't see going on here. So I thought I might do that, and we could roll that on Saturday as well. I think I'm more important than I really am. It's a sickness.
I mean, it's your show. Go for it.
Tony Schiavone, is it? I want a red wine colored jacket. I think I mentioned that to Spencer last week.
You should do that. Definitely. Are you going to get it monogrammed with like?
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a long time ago, and I don't know if I should say this, but whatever.
Hangman.
LPW hockey jersey, Hangman Page. LPW hockey jerseys were bandied about a little while ago.
Yes.
Like for that, because I'm a big jersey guy. Didn't
never
come to
happened,
fruition,
though.
unfortunately, but like that
I
would
wanted
have been
one
cool.
too.
Hey, look, it's Hangman.
Hangman. I'm just going to get my own jersey made. I'm just going to be like, can't wait. Oh, he's just coming out to chat. Okay. Oh, he's limping around.
If you wait for us to do something, you'll be waiting forever. Oh, wait, there's comments. I missed them. It's Hangman. Oh, look at us. We got something done. We'll just take credit for it. You and I, we did this.
We did it.
We got stuff. We got stuff done.
We did it.
You and me and the Hangman.
You, me, and the Hangman got stuff done. That sounds great. Just like, oh, crazy cowboy shit. I'm there for it.
Hangman's had enough.
When he first like switched like to this like crazy unhinged Hangman, I was like, oh, I don't know. And now I'm just like, yes, I want more of this.
Yeah, I got no problem with any of this.
But I think anytime any character drastically flicks a switch and becomes something totally different, you're like, okay, let's see how this works.
Yeah, that's fair.
And some of them I'm just like, no, I don't accept that you are now a bad guy. Like, it's just not a thing.
Yeah, I think Hangman Page is a guy that got that Bullet Club rub right at the perfect time when Bullet Club was kind of at its peak. And I was going to say he's been able to ride that, but that's actually dismissive to his talent because he's actually a very, very talented guy. Howdy, Eric. Welcome.
I know
Hangman Page.
Hangman. I think his promo when he actually burnt Swerve's house down was like the craziest shit I had seen on wrestling in a long time. And my mother's a big wrestling fan, and she's of
that's cool.
an entirely different age than me, obviously, but she has been watching WWE mostly just recently. I'd say the last 5 or 6 years. So when I was home visiting at Thanksgiving, I introduced her to AEW because Wrestle Dream was the pay-per-view and stuff. And she's not so sure about it. Like, it's very different than WWE. Of course, one of her first things was Orange Cassidy, which, let's face it, is a very confusing character if you're used to WWE. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to show you some promos. Yes. So I started showing her some of the promos, and I showed her Hangman Page burning Swerve's house down. She was like, what is this? It's like, this is what I like, Mom.
I think that's a very Canadian thing, maybe for people our age. Because like we grew up, or I did anyway, because I've been watching wrestling basically my whole life. We grew up, WWF was the only game in town. And when WCW came around, people were already so entrenched. I had friends like this that I used to argue with, so entrenched in the fact that WWF was the thing. They refused to let anything else in. And I think that's kind of maybe what AEW is having in Canada a little bit. But I think AEW is kind of sluggish right now all over, and crowds are dwindling a little bit. But I don't think they're going anywhere.
I just think it's very different from WWE, right? Like, so it's definitely grittier, and it's.
Can you show your mom deathmatch wrestling and like film it? Because there's an SNL right there. Can I come to your house, your mom's house?
Next time you're in Halifax, yes, I will. We'll go and fly. And
We'll get donaires, and then
yes.
We're gonna go
I
to
think
your
my
mom's
mom-
house and watch Tournament of Survival.
Yeah, my
And,
mom would watch it, and then she would have a lot of questions about my sanity, more than she already does. I'll tell you a great story about that, though. Oh, what do we have going on here?
Pac
Hangman's
is
getting
handling
attacked.
business.
Yeah. So I grew up watching WWF with my dad, and went to whenever they came into town, we would go to the shows and stuff like that. And then I got away with it. I got away from it for a while and started watching it again. And once a week, I would call my dad and we would talk about wrestling. Like that was our thing, and talk about what happened during the week. And then when my dad got sick, my mom started watching it with him because he was home a lot and that was his thing, and he didn't want to go out, so she would watch wrestling with him. So then I would talk to both of them. And then unfortunately my father passed away a couple of years ago, and my mom continued to watch wrestling, which really, really surprised me. But I think it was her connection to him.
That's
and
really
then
sweet.
now I call my mother once a week and we talk about wrestling. So
that's really cool, actually. That's really awesome.
It's actually one of the things I talked to Spencer about when I first started taking part in LPW. He had asked me to write a little thing about why I liked LPW, and it was like the whole connection to my dad. And so I sent them the whole thing about that. But so that's my mom. Like we talk about wrestling all the time, and she doesn't watch the pay-per-views because she doesn't pay for the network, and she doesn't really want to pay the extra money. So when there's pay-per-views on, I always just like live tweet or live text the event.
This happened and this happened.
Yeah. So
I think that's really cool. That's a good story.
Yeah.
So are we turning Hangman babyface? Is this what's happening right now?
Well, I don't know. I'm so confused. But that's Jay White they're beating up in the ring.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, what is? What happened to him? Because they did beat up Hangman earlier a moment ago, did they not?
Yeah.
I was so enthralled in your thing. Like, no, I get that because I grew up watching wrestling with my father, and he passed in 2018. I totally get it. Like, it's very, very similar.
Mm-hmm.
We're like the same person, but like you're better than me on every account. You're like the version of me if I was good and people liked me, talented and
what a shot with
capable.
Jay White just passed out in the ring there. Holy.
That reminds me of a cell. Again, I'm going inside baseball. A cell that Bayrat Garani had at the show.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Crow hit him with a poison rana.
Mm-hmm.
And he caught his head caught a lot of the canvas, and it was just like a booming sound. Like you could hear it. And Bayrat just kind of crumbled. And there's a good 10 seconds where the crowd's quiet. I don't say anything. I'm like, oh shit, this is not good. And then Fitzpatrick goes and checks on him and says he's good to go. And then he gets up and starts moving. And I'm like, okay. But for like a good 10 seconds, I was like, oh, fuck. Because it was like I hope it comes across on the audio, like on the edited version. Because and I apologize if I'm too inside baseball, Spencer. I'm sorry. But just the sound of his head hitting that canvas, it was scary because he did a great sell where he kind of didn't lay down. He kind of just hunched over and his arms were limp. It was so good. I bit on it so hard and I was like, oh shit.
What is this promo? For World's End. Okay. So I was like, what is this? Looks like a movie trailer.
Orlando, Florida. Jon Moxley will stand in the middle of nowhere with a flare. That
sounds right.
Okay, whatever. It's Thanksgiving Eve. We'll let it be what it is. Gotta make sure to take
Claudio and Ricochet, right? That's
I believe so, yes.
The match that was advertised? Yeah.
Take the turkey out of the icebox. I want to talk about something that AEW did last week, and I don't know. I think we talked about it already, or we talked about it last week, because Claudio worked Darby Allin last week.
Yes,
and beat him to a bloody pulp And then
Yes.
they immediately went to a backstage promo segment with interviewing a couple of the women. And I felt that was very much a disservice to, my brain is totally not working.
To the women?
No. Darby Allin.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, my brain totally went away. Because
That's okay.
they beat this guy to a bloody pulp, and then immediately they cut to this promo. It's like, okay, that's over. That's not important anymore. Forget about it. Like, go to commercial. If you're going to do something that aggressive and that violent, go to commercial and let it sink in before you go to another promo segment. Because to me, it was just like, F that guy. We're moving on now. It's not important. We're moving forward.
Yeah, I felt like it needed a minute to simmer, right?
Yeah.
Like just a minute to hang in the air where you're like, oh, okay, we just saw Darby almost die again. Like.
And again, that's something I've learned doing commentary is sometimes for me, less is more. And I shut my mouth and let it breathe is what I like to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always find, and too, like a lot of the promos in the back are a little fluffy right now. So you just go from something that's like a near-death experience to fluff, right? Yeah. So it's like, especially if I don't know who it was at the time, but I mean, you go to something like, Mina, where all she's doing is shaking her goods. Like that's a very like stark difference between dynamics, right?
Now, I want to ask you, as a woman, and no, I want to say, like your opinion. You do not speak for every woman.
Yes.
Like just like I feel like Effie, like people go to anytime anything like remotely gay happens, everyone's like, what does Effie think? Like Effie is like the spokesperson all encompassing, and that's not necessarily, but like when you see that, do you feel like it sets the women back, or is it just fun and let it be what it is? and if you don't want to talk about it, that's fair too.
No, that's fine. I always like to talk about it, but at the same time, I'm just like, again, I don't speak for everybody because
I'm very new to Mina Shirakawa, and I wasn't really aware much of this until recently, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that is happening.
I think that's her character, and that's fine. Like, I have no problem with her. What I do have a problem with is when they all do it, and across every promotion seems to do it. And I'm like, okay, the women's division should not be going back in time. Yeah. Like, we should be continuously moving forward. It's like the whole, I mean, I know this is AEW, but whatever. It's like the whole Liv and Rhea thing. Why is there feud about a boy? Like, can we not? Like,
fair. That's fair.
Let's move on. Like, let's move on to something else now. It's been too long. But, or, NXT, the same thing. They do a backstage segment and then, they're fighting about something and it's very serious. And then all of a sudden they're just shaking their tits. And I'm like, okay, like, why is the promo ending this way? You know what I mean? Like, just, I think women have to have more personality than just their sexuality.
Because, like, I'm trying to find a way to say this that's not going to sound stupid, but I don't know if there's a way around it. Like, I am a boob guy. And when that happens, like, half of me is like, oh, that's cool. And half of me is like, no, Boris, that is not cool. That is not good. You should not like this. And I don't know if that, again, that makes any sense. Yeah. And I don't speak for every dude ever, but like, I don't know. I
get it twofold. Like, I get marketing. I mean, the majority of people who watch wrestling are still men. Like, you know what I mean? I get it. It's a whole conversation I was having with JPJ today about Tiffany Stratton. Like, I think she's beautiful. I think she's incredibly talented. I wish she wouldn't look like she was wearing her underwear in the ring. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think she's more than that. You know what I mean? So
it's over and it's popular, but it can be seen as like, if I go to the ring at an LPW show and say, boy, I really wish I was in Calgary. It's easy. It's cheap heat.
Yes.
But cheap heat it works because it works. So I don't know.
And I think there's a difference between how it's done and whether it's your entire character or not. Like,
and I don't know a lot about her, so I can't, I can't say too much more about that.
Yeah. So Tiffany Stratton, I mean, like I said, is incredibly talented, and her character isn't about her sexuality, but she does look like she's wearing lingerie in the ring. And I just feel like you could wear a little more and still be that character. And, to be fair, if I looked like Tiffany Stratton, maybe I would walk around like that too. You know what I mean? It's whatever. But I just feel like when women become just that blonde,
Yeah.
big boobed blonde wrestler, then that's a very generic thing that all is very, it's too common, I think. And I think there's just, you can have a different personality than blonde and boobs.
The Calgary Flames are still losing, in case you were wondering. You weren't, but I'm
No.
telling you anyway.
But also, yay. I mean,
We're now in picture-in-picture. AEW is
and we're talking
advertising
about
their
blonde and boobs. So
well, but no, I think it's a conversation worth having, though.
yeah, and I don't mind talking about it. And I'm also, like I said, of a certain age where I'm like, I've been through the divas and I've been through the bra and panties matches and I've been through all of that, and I thought we were getting away from that. So the more we go backwards, the more I get frustrated.
We are now in picture-in-picture. AEW advertising their Black Friday sale.
Mm-hmm.
Wish I had money. I would buy things.
They're
I don't
also
know
having
what I would
a
buy.
sale on tickets. I got an email about that today. Discounted tickets for some of their upcoming events. For
Oh,
Black
really?
Friday.
Okay, that's cool. So I wonder what will be the main event tonight. I have to go back and look at the card. Thoughts on this? I can't speak to it because I don't know enough about Tiffany Stratton.
I think the main event might be the women's match.
Who is in that match? I'd have to go back and look. It's somebody
Queen Amidala
against somebody.
Versus Willow versus, because it's like it's 4 women, but it's not a 4-way match. It's like a tournament style match. Serena Deeb is the 3rd one, and I'm trying to think who the 4th is.
I'm doing a terrible job of trying to find
Sky
this.
Blue? No.
All right, hang on a second here. I'm digging through this now.
I'm relying on my memory, and that's not great.
Continental Classic, blah, blah, blah. Claudio Castagnoli, blah, blah, blah. Mark Briscoe, blah, blah, blah.
We are back live.
Oh, I think it's just Serena Deeb and Willow. Oh, wait, that's Collision.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that match is on Collision. I thought this was a 4 women match for some reason.
Jamie Hayter versus Queen Aminata.
Mm-hmm. Oh, maybe it's the 2 and then the other 2 on Collision, and then they're fighting each other. Maybe that's it. Jericho won, Eric.
Oh, it might be Okada and Daniel Garcia, if I'm reading this correctly as well.
That would make sense, yeah. I thought there was a women's was 4. That's why I thought maybe that was the main event. If it's just the 2, then it won't be.
None of us know what the hell's going on. Chris Jericho defeated Tomohiro Ishii to retain the Ring of Honor World Championship. Blah, 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 blah.
Can we pretend to be shocked? What?
My stars. I may never fully recover from this. Well, that boot looked good. Yeah, Claudio's good. Always good.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him with long, flowing locks way back in the day. Ring of Honor time. I'm an old man.
I think Ricochet is putting on some fantastic matches, too. It's nice to see him having what appears to be a little more freedom.
Yeah. Yeah, if I had money, I would shop on Friday.
Well, I find a lot of the sales. A lot of the sales have already started, like last week, the week before, for a lot of retailers. So I've been looking. I'm like, nothing. I need a new TV is what I really need, and I'm not like I want a new TV. I need a new TV. I just don't see what I want at a price I want to pay.
I need more fancy neon lights for the background of World Headquarters. We saw Cheeseburger last week. I marked out big cheeseburger guy. So wait, this is the Continental Classic. Does not Okada have the Continental title? What's that belt that's at ringside there? Is like Okada stripped of that title now? I don't understand how any of this works. What's the title at ringside then?
I don't know.
Damn it, Dustin. Where's Dustin? Dustin, you're supposed to fact check all my nonsense. So if you were to make one request on Saturday when Big Bad Boris is spinning the hits, the hits that I consider hits, what would that request be?
Oh, like anything?
Yeah.
Now, do you want me to troll? Because that's what I'm good at.
Well, any song, any artist. I have right of first refusal, and I may mock you. See, Eric Freeds is asking the hard-hitting questions. Eric Freeds, who is a wonderful person because he's watching the stream right now.
Yes.
But Eric Freeds does not know me very well.
That's Blue Ribbon.
I am a substantial supporter of the delicious, delicious Pabst Blue Ribbon, king of all beers. Hootie and the Blowfish will not be played on Saturday. I apologize. What's it going to be?
Are you thinking of keeping it like more high energy, or
all bets are off?
Like, okay, because I mean that makes a difference too, right?
My thinking going into this is I'm not going to think about it until I sit down in front of the keyboard and go live, and I'm just going to play what I feel. I'm sure I'll think about it for all the days going into it, but
now I got to think about that.
The possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
Nice sharpshooter. Is that a shout out to Tyson Kidd, former tag team champions?
Obviously.
Shout out to TJ Wilson, quality human being. Time After Time is a good song. The first cassette tape I ever bought was True Colors.
Wow.
True story.
Did you say cassette?
I know, right? He's like, what's the hell?
I just want to make sure that's what I heard. That's just
yes, cassette. I'm old. Ooh, nice European uppercut. God damn. I want to call cable TV wrestling. I just want to know if I could do it. And I want someone yelling in my ear. I want to know what that's like. I bet it sucks. Like, I can't imagine.
You don't have that at LPW? I just assumed someone was already yelling in your ear there. Besides me.
I want to know what it's like to have Vince McMahon yelling in my ear. I bet it's awful and horrible.
Probably.
But I'd like to experience that just to know what it's like.
Should just get Dustin to do it.
He has to do it in like a Vince McMahon voice. God damn it, pal.
That's not what we talked about.
Say it's the greatest night in the history of our business. It's good shit.
We don't need stories. Where's Get Me Ryback? Like, it's just like, yeah.
Don't say belt. A belt holds up your pants.
Oh my! What is Rick? Oh, he's out in the crowd. Okay, cool.
His genitals are compromised. We should isolate that. His genitals are compromised. That's the name of my. When I write my autobiography, it's going to be called "His Genitals Are Compromised."
The story of full-size Snickers.
The most boring book ever.
But it should have like that subtitle of his story, the story of full-size Snickers.
The story of full-size Snickers, in his own words. Packed with peanuts, Boris really satisfies. What is your what is your song? You've had like 5 minutes. What is this?
Because I have such a big genre of music that I love, right? So
Claudio gets the win.
Is that surprising?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I guess so. My understanding is that yes, Okada does have that belt. So is this to challenge for the belt?
I don't know. We need someone smart.
Because I'm just looking at it, I'm like, is this like the whole King of the Ring or whatever it is, where you just have a new person every year win it? Like
the crown jewel, whatever the fuck?
Yeah, whatever it is.
No.
Yeah.
I love they put Kyle Fletcher over at the pay-per-view, by the way. I'm all on board for that.
That was my pick. I think it makes sense.
Yep. That is how you, and that pile driver on the steps, like that's how you make stars.
I also think like I mean, no disrespect to Mark Davis at all, but him being out has made Fletcher a star.
Yeah, agree.
Like, when he started the singles run, I was like, okay, let's see what he's gonna do, and he has just taken that and run with it. So
now, fantastic. Do you see what Kyle Fletcher's doing with his hands right now? Do you see that?
Yes.
I learned this in broadcasting school. That's called vagina hands. And you see a lot of like weather people standing in front of the big weatherboard, and they'll have their hands like this, and they'll do this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's called vagina hands. I'm not making a joke. That's for real. What I learned when I was
okay. All right, so I guess since we were talking about it, I'm going to pick Underwhelmed.
Oh, see, now you're just sucking up.
No.
But, I mean, great song.
Now that we were talking about it, like, yeah. That has a lot of nostalgia for me, right?
Now, are you aware that there are two different versions of Underwhelmed? Because before the first full-length album came out, Sloan put out an EP called Peppermint.
Yes.
Which has a completely different version of Underwhelmed on it. Blowing minds, which is what I do. But yeah, no, you can't go wrong with that song. Absolutely. Also, Will Ospreay, yeah, drop me on my head on the turnbuckle, on the steps, whatever. Do whatever. It's all good.
I love Will Ospreay so much. Oh, we got a little bit of Adam Cole. Here we go. What's he doing? Does he have a match? Is he just coming out to yap? Looks like he's coming out to yap.
Man, the internet really turned on Adam Cole. I spend more time on Reddit than I should because it's like a cesspool of the world, like most of the internet. But like, yeah, when he was in NXT, he was the golden child, could do no wrong, and now he's just a skinny loser and no one likes him anymore. And I don't understand it. He's never been the biggest guy. It doesn't matter.
Since he's been back, now I don't know if he is playing up the injury that he had, or if it's still aggravated, because he's definitely not wrestling like he did. So I don't know if that's part of the story or if that is, if he's actually being careful. He just feels like he's being very conservative in the ring compared to what he was.
And in the ilk of Big Bill, like we talked about earlier, I want to talk about Mike Bennett is another like success story. He's a guy who had, demons, substance abuse problems, and really turned it around. And I've always been a big fan of his. I think he's got a great look, great worker, nice guy. PWA had him in years ago, and I got a chance to take a car ride with him. And yeah, another one of those stories that we should celebrate instead of focusing on the negatives, focus on positives like Mike Bennett. Also, Matt Taven. I think a lot of people gave ROH a lot of shit during the G1 show at MSG when they put Matt Taven over in the main event. But like they put over one of their guys, and I had no problem with it. I thought it was fine.
I think it makes sense to put over your own guys, but also it's nice when you don't. I like that unpredictability on cards.
Like it's something that I thought was cool. I've heard throughout the years in PWA when we would bring in some of the bigger names. And, a lot of times like the bigger names would go over, but there was certain times when you talk to that bigger name and they were kind of generous enough to say, who's going to be here next month? I'm not going to be here next month. That guy is. So we'll put that guy over. And I think that's, doesn't work for everyone, but I think it was really cool, those guys that did that.
Kyle O'Reilly coming out to interrupt.
I love
Quite
Kyle
like him
O'Reilly.
too. Yeah.
Homie needs a nap, but whatever.
I just think there's something, and I understand stars wanting to put over local talent at events. I really do for that reason. But also I think sometimes it's nice if there's someone visiting that they actually win, especially if it's not for a title. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you could use, LPW for an example too. Like you've got, so many tag teams, right? Like, someone's got to lose, right? Someone's got to win. And if the belts aren't on the line, why couldn't the visiting team win? So. Speaking of which, how was the debut last month? Well, I'll get a chance to watch that too.
Good. Really good.
What was it? Dove and Dangerous? Is that?
Dove and I had a really good chat with Frankie Dove in the locker room after. And great look. A lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
I like their whole look. That whole, it's got a lot of nostalgia to it. That blue satin and, it's like, yeah. Oh, MJF promo.
And they were used really well to further the story with the Rads that you'll see.
Nice.
And then that came full circle and at the end of the main event again. I want you to watch that show so we can talk about it.
Well, Spencer said he's going to send me the link, so I will watch it as soon as I get the link. Does MJF actually play the piano or just pretending here?
There's no friggin' way he's playing that piano. I love me some Red Dragon. I don't know when Ride or Die are going to wrestle in AEW, but hopefully soon.
Taryn hasn't she?
I'd have to look, but I think you might be right. I know Zoe did.
Yeah, I feel like Taryn did on a dark match.
All right, I'm going to...
I know she's been in a... Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Talk amongst yourselves, even though you're the only person who's on the show with me this week.
Talk to yourself. Yeah. Uh-oh, what's happening? I missed what Kyle Rowley said. He basically dropped a mic and left.
All righty. Taryn from accounting. Winnipeg Pro Wrestling, NEW, WrestleCore, LPW.
It might not have even... It may have been like an actual dark match, like before a show.
Defy. Wrestling Rodeo. Whatever that is. Sky Blue defeats Taryn from accounting. March 15th, 2023. AEW Dark Elevation from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Look at that. You've done it again for the first time. All right.
I know I didn't see it, but I heard that I remember Spencer tweeting it out. That's all.
We're in commercial. I'm an old man, and I need to use Little Boris's room again.
Sounds good.
I'm not proud of it. This is just who I am.
We will be back.
Oh, look at you. Do that again. That was pretty good.
And we'll be right back.
Now you got to do that thing where you're like, we're back.
Just reading about the International Women's Cup for Wrestle Dynasty.
Eric, there's an old saying from a very, very famous movie from the 1930s. Maybe I'm wrong on the date on that. It's always best to start at the beginning. That's all I'm going to say. Wizard of Oz, when Dorothy's following the yellow brick road, she's told it's always best to start at the beginning. Meanwhile, we're welcoming back to AEW Collision this Saturday, Hangman Adam Page versus Wheeler Yuta.
Is every event for LPW on IWTV?
I don't know if every event is, but the vast majority. I think there's actually a couple, some matches from some really, really, really old first few shows.
And look, now they're talking about the tournament
for technical difficulties.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Hayter, Queen Aminata, Serena Deebo, Nightingale.
So yeah, tonight.
Wrestle Dynasty. Yes, okay, I got it.
So there's one match tonight and one match on Collision, and then
So Wrestle Dynasty, that would be the night after Wrestle Kingdom, which is always January 4th, which I don't like because I can't stay up till 4 a.m. on a Tuesday night.
What? Why not?
I have a job that requires
Just
me
make
to
it happen.
Look, I have a job where I pull my
Take
butt
the day
muscle.
off.
I actually have in the past requested that day off, and I've taken a vacation day.
Because
the
you
day
usually take
after
Mania
Wrestle
weekend
Kingdom.
off, don't you?
I take Mania week off.
Hmm.
It is my favorite week of the
That's what
year.
I was
I
thinking
take that
of,
week
yeah.
off, and that's one of the benefits of having all those subscriptions that I have and other nefarious ways to watch wrestling. But I just pack it in. I love it. It's my favorite week of the year.
And
I
there's
was
a
bummed
lot.
not-
Yeah, a lot during that week. I know I watched a lot of wrestling that week that I don't normally watch.
I was bummed not this year, but 2023, because it ended up being the last weekend of the month. So Thursday night is when things really, really kick off, and we had our show, and then Friday we had our show, so I had to really scramble. But this year, like 2024, first show at 11 a.m. and just straight through to like 2 a.m. for 5 or 6 days straight. Loved it. I go to the bulk store and I stock up on everything that's bad for me, and the ladies like, I know not to talk to you for this week, and yeah, it's my favorite. I'm already
I'll
planning.
have to send you this clip I saw on Instagram yesterday, and it was like when your boyfriend loves wrestling, and he's just like in her ear the whole time, and I was like, that's me. It's like, just leave me alone and let me watch wrestling. Same thing in the summer when we have the big week that's all video game related. I'm just like, don't talk to me. I don't have time for
Is that
anything
like
else right now.
E3, or am I thinking of something different?
Yeah, it used to be
Okay.
E3. E3 doesn't exist anymore, but yeah.
Did it change to something else, or what happened?
Well, I mean, they had it closed with the pandemic, obviously, and
Okay.
then it just never really came back. So Jeff Keighley, or who does Summer Game Fest, now it's taken over like that week, and every day during the week there's different developers showing off their games. So it's a whole week long event. Yeah.
Did you ever go down to E3 or just follow along?
No, yeah, mostly just follow along. I used to, I worked at Microsoft at West Ed for a few years before it closed down with the pandemic. So like I was the gaming expert there, and we used to have E3 parties. Like I used to throw E3 parties. So yeah.
See, I think that's cool because there's like a whole other world over there that I don't know anything about. And I'm sure there's video gamers who have no idea what this world is all about. And I think, everyone's into something. Everybody throws himself into something. And
Oh, I know. When I talk to people, and I'm like, I like video games and wrestling and hockey. Like, just and they're like, okay, that's a lot.
If you're an Oiler fan, you don't like hockey.
I'm not an Oilers fan, though.
What's that?
I'm not an Oilers fan. It's not my team.
Are you like a Leafs fan or a Canadiens fan or okay. I mean, that's okay.
Being from Nova Scotia, though, you're either a Montreal fan or a Boston fan, usually.
I have a trivia question for you.
Oh, no.
You will remember the old Montreal Forum, correct?
Yes, I do.
Who is the only team to hoist the Stanley Cup in the Montreal Forum besides the Montreal Canadiens?
That I have no idea. I wouldn't even know where to.
It is the 1989 Calgary Flames won the Stanley Cup.
I should have known that was the answer. I should have known.
If it wasn't the Flames, I would have no idea that. I don't know any trivia.
Well, that's kind of why, in hindsight, yes, that should have been the assumption. Like, why are you asking me this question? It's Calgary.
You should know the ballpark you're playing in. I don't know what Far Cry 6 is, but that sounds like a good deal to me. Is that a good deal? I don't know.
It is a very good deal because it's a $90 game. So,
is it as good as Far Cry 1 through 5?
No.
Okay, here's a question, and I bet you can't answer this.
Okay.
What is your favorite video game of all time?
Assassin's Creed 2. Oh,
okay. You can't answer this. Fair enough. And what makes we're into commercial again? We're picturing. What makes that game so good?
It's so funny because I say it's my favorite game of all time, and that's probably a lie. But it's the game that got me into gaming.
Oh, okay.
So I have a soft spot for it. Also, it takes place in Italy, and I spent time there when I was in high school. So playing the game, I was like, oh, I know where that is. I know where that is. I've been there. I've done that. Cool. So I've a soft spot for historical games. So Assassin's Creed is my favorite franchise. So definitely, I would say probably, if I was being like entirely serious, my favorite game of all time, Red Dead Redemption.
But I remember when that came out, a lot of people were talking about that, like being
the second one or the first one.
Cool. I don't know. One of them.
The second one came out in 2018, and it was incredible, like absolutely incredible. But yeah, Assassin's Creed 2 is the game that I started playing when I just started getting into playing video games, and I was hooked. Like that was my thing. So
I have never, in all of my 48 years on the face of this planet, found a craft beer that was not gnarly, gross, and disgusting. I don't know if it's just me, if I'm wrong, or whatever. Also, Flames and Flyers, not even close to being in the same division. But hey, you're watching the stream, so you're a friend of mine. Yeah, people love that craft beer, but I'm just like...
I do, yeah. The trouble is that craft beer is such... It's like wrestling. It's so, like, big, right? So
yeah.
Yeah, and I don't like really hoppy beer, and a lot of craft beer tends to be really, really hoppy. So I think that's where it comes from. Yeah.
The Rock. Like I'm sure this is actually legitimately The Rock. Like The Rock. My God, we've really made the big time.
Well, of course he's here. I'm here.
Whoa.
I mean, I'm just going to big time you. It's okay.
I mean, everybody else does, but that's okay. You don't get chicken whatever after this is done. Like
that's true. Chicken, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it is. Chicken, I don't know. I think we're heading back from commercial right now.
We are.
Jamie Hayter and Queen Amanada. Yes, I do smell, actually. I take my shower once a month like everybody else, you know. Come on, that's comedy. That's funny.
I was like, do you smell? And I didn't realize what was written in the chat. And when he said that, I was like, what is happening?
See, I wish I would have made this decision to do a music show on Saturday earlier, and then I would have had a cool, fancy graphic I could throw up, but I don't have that, so.
We have a couple of days. You can throw one together.
Oh, I will. I just wish I had one for now, because I have a captive audience, so to speak, but whatever.
So who do we have winning this? I don't even know where this tournament's going to go.
I'd have to look at the brackets again, but...
Well, it's these two, and then there's Serena
It's Willow and
Willow.
Serena, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to assume with Willow, because she already has a little bit of FaceTime with New Japan fans, so...
I agree. And if I'm not mistaken...
Nordiques! Holy crap, the Nordiques haven't been a thing in a long time.
Doesn't Jamie Hayter already have a match booked that weekend with somebody else? No, I could be wrong. I'm thinking of something else, maybe. Try to keep track, and I'm like, I don't know.
That sound I made was... Blah.
I mean, I think it makes sense based on the four women. If Serena Deeb was in this bracket, I could see that her winning, but now I don't know what's going on with these two, but I have to think that Willow's going to win the whole thing and go overseas.
Did you go to the Dynamite that was here in
May? Yes.
Late? Is that when it was? May?
Yeah.
I felt so bad for Serena Deeb during that promo when all these fucking mouth breathers started chanting "Let's go Oilers." And in fairness, if it was flipped and it was Calgary and they were chanting "Go Flames Go," I would feel the same way, because it's just not cool, and it's just like shitting on a talent, and she's trying to do the job and entertain and put forward storylines. I just thought it wasn't cool. Like, come on, you guys.
Yeah, I think her coming out of the playoff run was yes. Yeah. And there was an Oilers game that night too.
Like, I understand it's a big deal. I totally get it. But, like, let's not do that.
Yeah. And on TV, like, I watched it back on TV, and I was like, oh, it's really loud. And I feel really bad for her. Yeah.
But I think sometimes I've been known over my years to take wrestling more seriously than I should. There have been many examples of me arguing with people in locker rooms and doing things that I've regretted later because I'm too close and took too seriously. But I just thought that wasn't cool.
For me, it was more of what is Edmonton looking like to the rest of the world?
Exactly.
Not great.
It's like
was the
it's like
answer.
that ladder match with Eddie and RVD when that shithead in the Oilers jersey jumped in the ring. We didn't get TV. I feel like we didn't get TV for a long time after that. I'm not saying that had anything to do with it, but like WWE always does well attendance-wise when they come here. I know there's financial things, with the dollar exchange and all that kind of thing, but like WWE always draws a big crowd. AEW not so much, but like we talked about.
I also think AEW had a few other problems while they were here in Edmonton with people in the crowd not being great, and I'm curious what that means going forward for the next time they come. And there we go.
I think the biggest obstacle, and we talked about it last week, is there's no medium-sized building for them.
Yeah.
Because I think Rogers is too big, but like the next thing I could think of, like we talked about, was I think maybe the Shaw, but that's too small. So there's no in-between kind of place where they could do TV.
Yeah. Yeah, the Expo Center is just too small, even though they have concerts there. Yeah.
Terrible venue for concerts because it's all just concrete walls and the sound just bounces around. Bad. I worked when I was working for Bell Media. I don't remember who was playing, but it was bad. Jamie Hayter gets the win.
Yeah. Daniel Garcia versus who's the main event?
Okada.
Yes.
The lights have gone out.
Oh, we getting
That's
Julia
never
Hart?
good. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about these vignettes we've been seeing.
A little bit of smoke. That feels like a Julia Hart. And we'll get nothing. It'll just be a tease for next week. Well, we got a backstage with Mina. Just a tease for next week. Looks like with Julia Hart. So.
All right. So we have Mina Shirakawa, who we talked about earlier.
She's another one that when Dynamite was here, her music hit, and I don't think half the people in the crowd knew who she was. She did not get the reaction I thought she would have.
Yeah, AEW is a very parts of it is very niche audience. Like for every John Moxley and those big names, you've got a guy like Daniel Garcia who, if you don't watch weekly, you're not going to know who he is.
And I think we were talking about that too, about the ticket sales in Canada. I think not being able to see Collision and Rampage easily means that I miss out on 2/3 of the content each week. So why would I be invested in going to a show when I probably have no idea what's going on with the storylines?
Somebody pull this footage and send it to Tony Khan.
Yes, because
and
my opinion is the most important.
Yes, and then send me a check for $18 American. I could buy a house with that.
Oh, Mariah May acting out.
You're ahead of me. Oh no!
Sorry, Mariah May.
What did she hit her with? It looked like was it a
belt
bottle or a glass or
no?
Something shattered.
Oh, it would have been the champagne glass. Mina always has the champagne glasses. I do think that's something that Canadians bring up a lot, which we don't get to see all of the content easily. So that's why I'm curious if they get a TV deal, what that's going to mean, if we're going to get any differences or. Oh, the winter is coming match, Mina versus Mariah. Was that announced before?
I think Collision and Rampage being behind that TSN paywall is. But I wonder if there's got to be a few people who have bought TSN Plus. Just for that. I know there's like some NFL stuff and whatever that you get with your TSN Plus, but I have a feeling there might be a handful of people who bought it just for wrestling. It's cool to see Daniel Garcia get the win. I thought the pay-per-view kind of glossed over him walking out with that AEW flag in his back. That was kind of cool. It seemed like he was in a hurry to get to the back. I'm not sure if they were on a time crunch or whatever, but it seemed like it was really, really quick. He got to the back.
Oh, we're getting Darby Allin, Brody King.
Oh,
Garcia Okada must be on Collision.
Oh, poor Darby. No, this is already. I'm already.
Worried. He's just gonna get beat up. It's Brody King, and it's Darby Allin.
I mean, Darby might go over though, but he's gonna get beat up. Here we go. There's the TSN Plus advertisement we were speaking of moments ago.
I think a lot of people were speculating, at least what I saw online today, is that Darby might not even make it into the match. They were thinking that he might get like jumped in the parking lot or something, and they would substitute somebody else into the match.
Interesting take.
Yeah, I thought so.
We're in what I think might be our final commercial. I'm not 100% sure, but
yeah.
I want to take a moment to thank you for coming and hanging out with me. This has been a lot of fun. You are always welcome on the stream. I'm going to do the music thing. So for those of you who give a flying fuck about Saturday Night Love, 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, midnight Eastern on twitch.tv/lovewrestlingca. I'm just going to play songs I like, and then you move the coffee table out of the way so you have plenty of room for dancing, and you dance, I play music, and everyone's happy. That's what's going to happen.
Are you going to take requests?
I might take some requests. I'll send the link out to everybody like I always do, and see if anybody...
You should take requests for super chats.
It's Twitch, though. I don't know how that works.
Oh, that's true.
Because Twitch is a lawless wasteland where I can do whatever I want, whereas YouTube is a little stringent. Or else I would donate the money to a worthy cause, like I don't want to. We're looking at. No. I don't want to. No. We're talking about. Spencer's going to get mad at me. We're talking about doing something in the middle of December. For the Trevor Project. And I don't want to say anything in case we can't get it put together, but there's something that we're talking about doing that I'm pretty excited about. But regardless, I don't think there's super chats on Twitch. If there is, give money so we can donate it to somebody who needs it more than we do.
Yeah, you could always set up it, going forward, if you want to do this in mid-December, if you have a charity thing sorted, you can always set up a donation link on Twitch.
Oh, really? Okay.
Directly, yeah. Because when I raise money for charities, when I stream, I always have a donation link or a QR code on the screen.
Oh, okay.
So you could do direct donations that way.
I'm sure Spencer and Zach have all that figured out. I'm just the guy that talks. I'm looking forward to some chicken. I don't know. This is going to be good.
Does it smell good?
It smells good. It does.
Yeah. That's the worst part when you're sitting doing something and you can smell dinner and you're like, okay, just get this over with. I need to go eat.
Thinking about my exciting Cribs video of World Headquarters. It's going to blow some minds.
You're going to have music and you're going to have like crazy camera angles and everything.
Coming back from commercial, it is main event time. The lights have gone out, which can mean only one thing.
Brody King.
Because you send the heel out first most of the time.
I don't
see. Brody King is what I wish. Good. What I wish I looked like, because Brody King is like, he's not a skinny dude. Like he's a big dude, but like he's not like a fat dude. Whereas I'm just a fat dude. Does that make sense?
We were talking about JPJ and I were talking today about Tiffany Stratton, where I was talking about earlier, and he was talking about whether if he looked like some of these wrestlers, he wouldn't wear a shirt or anything like that. And I was like, I don't like these big ripped guys. I like some big beefy men. And he was just like, okay then.
How you doing?
But what was his comment? He said, Ophelia likes the meat and I bring the meat. And I was like, okay, that's a tagline that we're going to use apparently.
One of my favorite memories from actually last year in January was when JPJ was down for a couple of shows and he was at the Oil Rumble. And I was walking past him to go into like the dressing room area, and he was coming out and he was talking to somebody else. And I was just like, it's so weird to hear his voice in my life and not just in headphones. It was really kind of bizarre, but yeah, really, really good dude. It's really short though. I was surprised. I thought he was going to be like 6'2", and he comes
across as being this big guy.
Yeah, right? He's got a big personality, but like he's just like a compact JPJ. King.
Yeah,
great guy though. Great guy. We got to get Pluggo to get his ass on a flight out here too. I know it ain't cheap to fly.
I always tell him to bring Mrs. Pluggo, and I'll take her like to West Edmonton Mall and stuff, and we'll have some
I
fun.
think you and Mrs. Pluggo and my lady all need to go to the bookstore. And we'll just leave you there for like 5 hours.
Drop us off. Come back and pick us up.
She loves the. Actually, what I gave her for Christmas last year, I thought this was a score for me. Is I bought her a rather substantial gift card to Chapters and a gift card to McDonald's. And once a month, we have a book date. We get iced coffee from McDonald's. We go to Chapters, and I just let her roam around for,
I love that.
30, 60, 90 minutes. And we had a book date once a month. And that was, I don't know what I'm going to do this year. Because I did a really good job last year. So, yeah, what is that belt that's at ringside?
That is the Continental Classic belt.
Well, then what happens to the one Okada has?
That is the one Okada has.
So Okada doesn't have it anymore.
He does. I think it's on the line for the whole
fucking
thing.
hell.
I think. I don't have Dustin here to keep me in check, so I'll just make up
he's
stuff
like the
and
fact
be
checker
confident.
of Boris.
I'm just going to be confident because half of people believing you is just how confident you are in telling your lies. Right?
Yeah, fake it till you make it.
Exactly.
A lot of women I've known have done that.
Comedy.
Comedy.
What is Darby's all? Oh, that must be from the match or from the post pay-per-view. It's like he's got his ribs all taped up.
Shit. I've never seen that before.
What's that?
The flip extra rotation into the back bump.
This is such a good match to show off both of them. Like Brody will show off his power and Darby will just sell everything.
You should check out Brody King's band. It is hardcore. Like I don't mind a little bit of hardcore, but it's like hardcore. It's called God's Hate. And it's like super hardcore punk, but like hardcore.
Oh, so it's not Christian rock, is what you're saying?
No, not so much. No.
With the name God's Hate. I was just making an assumption. Speaking of, did you see that the Beards are listed as a Christian podcast?
Are they really?
Yes.
I had no idea.
I think it's the Beards. It's, if you look them up on Spotify, maybe it has them listed as a Christian podcast, and it's very, very
That's
funny.
tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea they were so devout.
Mm-hmm.
Plug, are you still there? What's your favorite Bible verse? Oh, poor Darby. Oh, man.
Oh, no. We're going to picture in picture, so I guess.
Like, Darby reminds me of Chucky Blaze when he was like 14, but like for like 6 months before he realized I don't have to get fucking killed every 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you do you, I guess.
I'm just really curious what they're doing with Darby. Like, most people assume that he's going to make a run for the belt.
I think he's going to be the one that beats Moxley. Calgary Flames are still losing. When?
Yeah. So he's going to climb Everest in April. So you can't really give it to him before then because then he'll have to drop it while he's away.
When's the Texas Stadium show?
July.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a long, it's a
long run
road,
for Moxley. Yeah.
A long road to hoe, so to speak. But like, you could feed Moxley some guys here and there, and if you're good enough at booking and telling stories and using the vast amount of talent you have, you can make it work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they made Cena and Rock work for a year. I mean, granted, it's a bit of a different animal, but I mean, they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Little Caesar looks really good in the commercials, and then you have it, and you realize that television.
I have never had Little Caesar's pizza.
No, you're not missing a whole lot. So you keep living your life, and you're going to be just fine.
Just sit there and go, yeah, that looks good, and just go along. Yeah. Most pizza I'm disappointed with when I order it anyway. So.
I'm also mad that I didn't invent the washer and dryer in one singular machine.
Yeah.
Why the hell didn't I think of that? I'd be a zillionaire.
On a commercial for Wicked, my favorite movie of the year.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's good?
Saw it Friday. I went. Yeah, I loved it. Loved it.
Because Ariana Grande does not look well. She looks very, very skinny.
Yes.
And again, I'm not gonna assume anything about anything, but like it's I don't know.
She always looks like that though, right? Like from my experience with her anyway.
And speaking of brilliant ideas, my whole beer Slurpee idea didn't really take off the way I thought. I was like the smartest guy in the world, and I invented beer Slurpee. But
Beer
everyone
Slurpees are a
says,
thing.
"Is it a thing?"
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
So I didn't invent beer Slurpee.
No, you did not. I hate to burst your bubble, but you did not.
I also thought I invented the Crazy Ivan. Do you know what the Crazy Ivan is?
No.
The Crazy Ivan is 3/4 beer and 1/4 Red Bull.
That
And I
sounds
did
terrible.
that. No, it's amazing. And I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. And
I
then
don't really like
Googled
Red
it.
Bull though.
And then I Googled it, and it's called the Crazy Ivan. And I was like, damn it, I can't invent anything. We are back
Like
live.
no?
Darby Allin is crawling to something.
As Darby Allin wants to. Yeah. Oh, he's got his leg wrapped up too. I never noticed that. Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's a bar here in the city that does a beer Slurpee, and I can't think of who it is.
Man. So what you're saying is I'm not going to be rich.
Not by that. Come up with something new.
I'm trying.
Just
poor
do it.
Darby.
Yeah.
Poor Darby is about to get hurt more.
Brody's getting this win. I'd like to see Brody get this win. I mean, Darby can win every other one and move on, but I would like to see Brody win this.
I'm a big Brody King fan. I have been for a long time. Great
And
look.
House of Black just, they need to win something.
See, I'd have tattoos like that if I had the money. Oh, you know what's really weird right now? Listen. What do you not hear?
The crowd.
No. What do you not hear?
Commentary.
Exactly. Sorry, that's where my brain goes right away. But like, I don't hear
it
totally.
now.
What was it? Oh, it sounded like you could hear the crowd sound change, like they just turned their shit back on or something.
Yeah.
That was weird. Really weird. Oh, are we going to do Sunset Bomb? Oh, that was
Yeah, I
probably
can
not
hear them
a
now.
lot of
That's
fun.
weird. I wonder
Yeah.
if there was something wrong with their audio.
Or they thought commercial was longer than it really was.
Hmm.
Oh, is that how they're selling it? They smashed our audio.
I guess we can go with that. Yeah.
I'm going to eat some chicken. I can't wait. Is this show over yet?
Close.
Oh, Juice and Will Ospreay.
And Fletcher versus Mortos. That'll be
Damn
fun.
it, I need me some Collision.
Page versus Yuta. Whew. Okay. Every once in a while, we'll get a string of matches like this, and I'm like, maybe I should get TSM Plus, and then I'm like, for what, like a month? Okay,
4 o'clock Eastern. That's 2 o'clock our time. Oh, we got Pac and Jay White next week.
Is that is that Collision this week as early?
Yeah, 4 o'clock Eastern,
Yeah.
2 o'clock our time.
I don't want to cross over with Survivor Series.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Because that starts
Good
early.
call.
It's like 4 o'clock for us.
Oh,
Or
like pre-show
4:30,
will
I
start
think.
at 4?
4:30, yeah. I think
4:30,
the
yeah.
main show is at 6 or something.
6?
Maybe, no, it might be earlier. 5:30, I think, is the main card. It's a weird time. It's not like top of the hour, which I was really thrown off by.
That is weird.
Mm-hmm. I have a couple friends that are flying in Saturday morning, and I was like, I don't know if I would risk that with the weather.
Yeah, that's a quick turnaround.
Ooh.
Into the clutches.
My God, Darby looks so small with Brody King. Like so small. Yeah, that's the ending that should have been. Yeah.
All right. Well, we drop on head and we move along with our lives.
I'd like to see Brody get a good run out of this. Like, House of Black just needs to have some wins, and it should be him.
There's so much potential in there. He doesn't look like the kind of guy that, you strap your rocket to and put your company behind. But why not do it just because he's not the guy who looks like that?
Yeah. And I think with a tournament like this as well, too, you have the chance to have people get wins that might not normally, but they don't need to win the whole thing,
Uh-oh, fans are looking at something. What are we looking at?
Here we go. Hold on.
Claudio has a chair.
That must be the next matchup on this group.
Wait a minute. Brody King.
Here we go.
Looks to be defending Darby Allin. Oh.
Next week, Brody King versus Claudio.
That'll be good.
Because even though Claudio's not the big man, he's the strong dude. So that'll be a lot of fun. There you go. It's chicken time, Boris.
We're not done yet. Oh, never mind. All right. Thank you, Ophelia, for joining me. This was a lot of fun. You're always welcome on any stream I have, including it's Saturday night. If you want to come on and make a request in person or in chat or whatever, you are, of course, always welcome. I will be back on Saturday Night Love, the special musical edition, twitch.tv/lovewrestlingca, Saturday night, 10 p.m. Mountain, midnight Eastern time. Do you want to plug your social medias or any of that kind of nonsense, or you don't give a shit?
Nope.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in to the Dynamite Watch-Along. I'll be back again next Wednesday.
And happy Thanksgiving to our American friends.
Yeah. Get in your ice box and cook your turkey and all that kind of nonsense. We will talk to you guys all next week. Good evening. Good evening. It's time for AEW Watch-Along with Boris.
If you need a feature, you just go Dynamite, Dynamite, jazz hands, it's Dynamite time with Boris.